So within 2 months, you've broken even on that property.
I'm in profit.
You're in profit?
Yes.
After 2 months, wow. So from when you started working with Kevin and the No Money Down team, 4 months.
Yeah.
Between that and agreeing the deal, who wants 6 properties in 4 months? Hello there, and welcome to the Progressive Studio, where we are joined by a very special guest. Now, as the face of Progressive, I am interested in sharing your success stories. And our guest today, Rob Caswell, has been a fantastic ambassador for Progressive so far because he has excelled extremely quickly in his journey. Rob, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
No, you're very welcome to the studio. So, you weren't always into property. This is a fairly new venture for you, and we've chatted to each other, quite a lot. We know each other a bit from the past. So tell us a little bit about Rob before Progressive.
So before Progressive, I dabbled in various different businesses. One of them was Caswell Removals, which went quite well, but unfortunately I was working stupid hours in the day. And when my children's mother fell pregnant with our first child, we decided that I couldn't continue working that amount of hours. So I pulled back from the business. It didn't really go too well management-wise. In the end, it folded the business and went back to a just over broke.
A just over broke, a job, a job. So before you became a business person, let's rewind a little bit. Were you in a job before that?
Yeah, so I had various different jobs, like warehouse work and stuff like that. Not really great jobs at all.
But stuff that paid the bills.
Yeah, just about.
Just about, yeah, as you say, just over broke, right? But then you went from those warehouse jobs into starting your own business?
Yeah, so it's a domestic removals company.
And you started that business, from scratch?
Yeah, so it was just one van at first, one Luton van, then became 2 Luton vans, and would rent like 7.5 ton lorries when we needed them.
When you were in your job, what was the thing that made you think, I need to start my own business now?
I wasn't very good working for somebody else. I didn't like being told where I needed to be, when I needed to be there. And that was the main driving factor to trying to start a business.
What made you think that starting a business was the way to go? You felt stuck and you needed to change.
Yeah, I needed to change, wanted to earn more money. And I felt like my efforts at work was obviously generating more money that I wasn't getting. I was living somebody else's dream.
You were living somebody else's dream.
Working somebody else's dream.
You were building somebody else's dream instead of your own. And so by going into business, you felt like you could build your own dream.
Yeah, exactly that.
And then, of course, like lots of businesses at the moment, it sounds like it hit a few turbulent times. How did you deal with that? Because it must have been quite hard, I imagine.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't really know how to handle a lot of the stuff. And looking back now, I feel like if I had a mentor, which there's people out there that know and done it before, and yeah, rinse and repeat what other people have already done, which looking back in hindsight, that's what I needed.
So follow the successful and success follows. If you can see other people making the mistakes and you can learn from their mistakes before you make them, and you can learn from how they dealt with those mistakes before you encounter those mistakes yourself, then do you think you would have been able to kind of muddle through and keep that business going?
Yeah, quite possibly, and be able to preempt those mistakes as well. Having somebody else or speaking with somebody else that's already been through what you've been through, because you're actually approaching a massive mistake. Don't go down that road. So yeah, preempting them, and yeah, just having the guidance. Just
having that guidance. And just before we get on to the property side of things and how you find Progressive, there might be some people out there who are struggling in business. We're living in sort of tumultuous times at the moment. So given the experience that you've had in your own business, and now with the understanding that learning from a mentor might be a good thing, what would you say to those people who might be struggling in business right now? Should they pack it in or should they keep going? Like, how would you advise they deal with that?
Find somebody that's already done what you're doing and learn from them. Just carbon copy what they're doing. Try and get them to mentor you. Yeah.
So egos aside, it is okay to ask for help, okay? And then, so the business folds, and, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, right? What happened after the business folded?
Soon started run out of money, as you do.
Yeah.
So I ended up back in construction, started as a labourer, back on site, carrying in plasterboard. Anybody that's done that knows
Hard work.
very much hard work, carrying them upstairs and stuff like that. Then I looked up at tower cranes and I thought, oh, I wonder how much they get paid. And then after
Tower cranes, as in like, you mean those big tall crane things?
yeah.
You wanted to operate one of them?
I actually have operated. The tallest one I've operated is 150 meters.
150 meters.
Yeah.
Gosh, that sounds pretty scary to me.
You look down, the people are little dots. So yeah, that was for Kilnbridge in Canary Wharf. I've worked on Tottenham Football Stadium. I've worked in Intel out in Ireland. I spent a while out there. Yeah, quite a lot of the big projects. The Carnahan in London,
Wow.
central London.
I mean, it sounds quite frightening to me, but clearly, is it something that you loved? Is it something you enjoyed?
No, I was very isolated up in the cab. Really didn't like it. Had the radio all day long, and that radio just kept getting louder and louder, and it just started pulsating on my ears, and I just had to get out of it. And yeah, my social skills started to diminish. And because you didn't respond on the radio, you just listened. So people would actually speak to me and ask me a question, and I just wouldn't respond. And they'd be like, "Look, I've just said something to you, and you haven't said anything back." I'm like, "Oh, I'm really sorry."
Wow. And so you needed a change. So what was next?
So I became an appointed person for lifting operations and started planning and managing the lifts, which is what I'm still doing today. Still feel like I'm a bad employee. I still don't like being told where I need to be, when I need to be there. So I started looking for other things to do. But the turning point was listening to Rob Moore's book, and I think that was back in 2018. Money.
Money, yeah. I was going to ask you, Rob Moore's written loads of books, so it was his book Money was the one that really kind of made you think differently?
Well, it kind of reaffirmed what I thought previously and how money worked. So yeah.
So you read Rob's book Money, you're still in your just over broke. What was the thing? What was the catalyst? You read Rob's book Money, you sat on this kind of feeling for a few years. What was the moment that made you think, you know what, I actually have to implement something here and make a move towards property in a very real sense?
Well, so the turning point was, so I didn't actually think I could get into property with very limited finances and are just over broke. You're kind of living to your means all of the time. The more you earn, you're going to spend a little bit more. Speaking to one of my friends, Owen, he said that he'd done the course with Progressive and there was a no money down version. So I started getting a little bit intrigued by that.
Intrigued by no money down, yeah?
Yeah, the no money down. It's like, well, how does this work?
You can start investing in property right now, even if you don't have a lot of cash. Full stop. No tricks, no catches. You just need to learn how. Plain and simple. It's called no money down property investing. It's the perfect strategy if upfront cash is your biggest roadblock. Hundreds of our students are implementing these strategies all across the country, and you can too. Click on the link to register for our upcoming No Money Down Discovery Day, where you can join me absolutely free, and I will talk you through all of the different no money down investment strategies to get you started now in property. Spaces are limited, so click on the link now to register and avoid disappointment.
From there, I was intrigued and I looked up Rob Moore again and saw the Money Matrix in London. So I booked onto that thinking it was the property side of the business. I turned up there and I quickly figured out it weren't the property side of the business, it's the entrepreneurial side. There was so much I learnt from there. There's some great keynote speakers. I spoke to a lady there called Max, and yeah, she said, look, the Money Matrix is not the property side. You need to go to Masopi. That's the starting point, the multiple streams of property income. So I Googled that day and booked on to the next one, which was in April.
And what did you learn there?
There's so many different strategies. Again, very overwhelming. Like at the Money Matrix, you start running through your mind, how do I implement this stuff into my life? Or where can I implement this stuff? And it's the same with the multiple streams of property income. It's like, where do I go first? What do I focus on? How can I best implement this in the area that I'm in? The no money down screamed at me. It absolutely blows your mind. On Kevin McDonough, he's just a property. He's a no money down genius. You can put a deal in front of him. if it's not the right strategy, he will tell you what the right strategy is in seconds, and just run through the numbers so quickly. He'll blow your mind.
He is absolutely mind-blowing. And when you say no money down, there'll be some people who are listening to this that don't actually know what that means. So what does no money down actually mean? What have you taken away from the no money down experience?
So to start out and market yourself, you obviously need some money. But there is deals out there, which my first deal was literally absolutely no money down.
Your first deal was no money down. So what does that... Tell us about your first deal.
So my first deal was a 6-bedroom all-en-suite HMO. Come after quite a few months of a lot of hard work, or a lot of effort. So I was out delivering leaflets. So I delivered like 7,500 leaflets.
7,500?
Yeah, myself. Sent over 500 direct-to-vendor letters.
Did you get out into the areas and knocking on doors and all of that?
Oh, yeah. So I knocked on over 50 doors with some success. But I did find that I was not knocking on the right doors. There are actually homeowners. I really feel like the deals are made with property investors.
Interesting.
Not to say that there isn't a deal with a homeowner, because I do have one in the pipeline where it's looking really good, where he's refinanced his property, moved into another property, but that's only on ice at the moment while he moves into the property that he's moving into, because he's really busy and don't want to put any added stress on him. So we will revisit that, and hopefully I will purchase that in a creative way.
Well, I love that. And so your first property, what kind of property is it?
So a 6-bedroom HMO, all en suite.
A 6-bedroom all en suite HMO as your first property.
Yes.
Wow, that's quite an undertaking for your first property. Would you have had the confidence to take on a property like that without the training that you've had with Progressive?
No, you just don't think it can happen. You don't think you've got the money. You haven't got the experience. You don't know what to do. You don't know what direction to go in. Yeah, I would just be completely lost.
You'd be completely lost. And how did you acquire that property?
So after the first 3 months, as I'd marketed myself in the Aylesbury area, because that's my area.
Yeah.
That's where I'm living. And we're taught to stick close to home. There can be deals made, which there can be. Unfortunately, HS2 is a compound in Aylesbury. So on the rental market, there isn't really a problem because there's so much demand. So I changed to the Milton Keynes area. With it, I sent out 200 direct-to-vendor letters. I got two calls off of those, and I sent them out in bulk because that's what I ended up doing in Aylesbury, because I wasn't getting a lot coming back. So I sent 200 out. I got two calls. One of them was a 6-bed all-en-suite HMO. Upon going to view the property and conversations over the phone, I quickly learnt they had other properties.
Ah, they had other properties.
Yes.
So they had a 6-bed ensuite HMO, which was the one, was it marketed at the time? Was it off market?
Off market.
And so you had no idea this property was for sale, and it was from your 200 direct-to-vendor letters that you got 2 responses, and one of those responses turned out to be a 6-bed HMO, but they had other properties.
They had other properties.
So before we talk about the other properties, let's stick with the HMO. And so I think you mentioned earlier that the HMO was empty.
It was. It just come back from social housing.
And you wanted to get people in there immediately. So what kind of techniques did you use creatively to make that happen?
The first thing I'd done, so I had another meeting in London with the vendors, because the portfolio is owned by 2 gentlemen. We discussed what their needs was, and then discovered what their problem was. The property was empty, so I made the suggestion, let's take this on a corporate lease. They agreed to that. I negotiated to get the keys early. I tenanted it before the start of the actual tenancy with the property owners.
Oh, wow.
And I used the tenant's money, the first month's rent, to pay for the furnishing.
So you used the tenant's money, their first month's rent, to pay for the furnishing of the property that you were letting to them.
Yes.
So how much of your own money did you put into that deal?
Very little. I think I put £1,000 in,
Yeah.
which has come back in the second month's rent.
So within 2 months, you've broken even on that property.
I'm in profit.
You're in profit.
Yes.
After 2 months. Wow. So there are some people out there who think, how on earth do I get a 6-bed HMO property that I get all my money out of in 2 months, and not only do I get all my money out of, I'm profiting from it. So you said you used a corporate lease, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So for anyone who's watching, a corporate lease is where you can take on a landlord's property and then you can underlet that property to other people with the landlord's permission. It's colloquially known as rent to rent. And so you take this property on as a rent to rent.
Correct.
And so you're renting it from the landlord, but you're renting it to other tenants for a profit.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow. And you're making profit within 2 months. Rob, that's fantastic. You mentioned they had other properties.
They did. Oh,
Tell
they
us
do.
They do. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so underneath the 6-bed HMO, there's a commercial property, which has got a lease on for the next 3 years. I've actually made an offer on that property as a whole before I took it on as a corporate lease, as a purchase lease option, which has been agreed.
So the purchase lease option has been agreed on the 6-bed HMO.
Yes, and which includes a commercial property
Wow.
underneath. There is 4 other additional properties. Some of them have come back from social housing and the others are tenanted. And there's one that actually has planning permission to turn it from a 2-bed into a 3-bed.
So even though it has planning permission, they still want to sell it?
Yeah, so they're coming to retirement age. They've made their money from the property over the years. And they really took a liking to me. And their words are, look, we just want to work with you. Like there's absolutely no issue you can put in front of them, and they say, look, Rob, we just want to work with you.
I love that. And you know what? You've hit on something really important here. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize. And it's that property is a people business. And for anyone out there who's wondering how to get into property, if you become a problem solver, if you speak to and build rapport with people who own properties, find out what the situation is. In this case, the situation was they're approaching retirement. They probably just want a nice, easy life to get rid of the portfolio. They want to hand it to somebody who they think will look after it and that they know, like, and trust. Because Rob went and he took the time to find those people, you actually went to London to speak with them and understand their problem and structure a deal that worked for them. Because you met them in person as well, they grew to know and like you. And now they want to sell you all of them. Are you buying them all on purchase lease options?
All of them, yeah.
All of them on purchase lease options. So can you tell us about what the purchase lease option is?
So a purchase lease option is where you agree a price today. I call it an interest payment. So I basically structure it so where they get an interest payment on their cash employed, because these properties are owned outright.
Right? So no mortgages.
They're all unencumbered. So yeah, I've called it an interest payment. Plus I'm also paying them an option fee each year, which will be reduced off of some of the property, not all of the properties, but some of the properties will have additional payments.
And when you say you're paying the option fee, will you be paying the option fee or will somebody else be paying the option fee?
It'll be coming from the cash flow from the property,
It'll
course.
be coming from the cash flow from the property. So, and this is what we mean by no money down, right? It's like structuring a deal creatively in such a way that you don't have to continue to use your own money. You can actually generate the income that you need from the property itself.
There'd be no more money coming out of my pocket.
So in total then, £1,000 of your own money that you got back out within a couple of months and you're in profit in a couple of months. How many? 6 other properties or 5 other properties?
So 6 properties in total, but one of the properties is joint. It has separate deeds.
Right.
So it's a number and a number A. But that comes as one property.
Oh, I see.
So, and then there's 4 other properties. So there's 5 properties in total, but one of the properties is a HMO and a commercial property in one.
So effectively the 6.
Yeah.
Wow. Now that is no money down. So there'll be some people out there who are worried about getting started in property. You have proved that you can still have a full-time job. You can still have basically no time to do anything, but you can still get yourself out there, get lease deeding despite not having time. And you didn't have any money when you started. And you did it in what was the time scale? You
So 4 months is from the start of my masterclass to actually agreeing the deal.
So from when you started working with Kevin and the No Money Down team, 4 months.
Yeah.
Between that and agreeing the deal. Who wants 6 properties in 4 months? It's pretty good going, Rob. I'm so excited to hear about your journey moving forward. And it'll be really, really interesting to speak to you again in the studio next year or in 2 years to find out where you have grown to. What's the next step?
Well, it's definitely ignited a fire to get out there, fill the pipeline and see what can happen when I'm doing this full time. because right now I'm only using my spare time. Initially, I was getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning. One of the things I asked Rob Moore at the Money Matrix, what would be the most critical thing I can do to change my life? And he was like, get up earlier. I get up at 2 a.m. And I was like, nah, I'm not getting up at 2 a.m.
I'm not getting up at 2. I get up at 3 instead.
But I normally get up at 5. So
Yes.
I had to incorporate an extra couple of hours. So I was like, I'd try 3. And I'd done that for a few months just to get ahead.
It only happens with action. You cannot be successful without taking the appropriate action. And you have to do the hard work now to have it a bit easier later, don't you? The hard work happens now to get the life of your dreams later.
But the life of the dreams is quitting that job and being able to do everything on my terms and spend more time finding these deals. There's so many out there.
There's so many out there. And so for anybody who's watching and they're thinking, can I get into property? I've got no money. Where do I start? What advice would you give them?
Get started. Put your best foot forward. The answer is yes. Figure it out later. Get some training first and foremost. Don't walk into it blind. Get a mentor. The mentor is absolutely key. So one of the things I did have throughout my first few months was I was so excited about it. I was telling family members, friends, look, you can do this. And no. And very soon they will brainwash you that it can't happen.
What, the people around you will brainwash you?
Yeah, well, yeah. So if somebody keeps telling you something over and over again, and then you're hitting these brick walls, because it's not going to happen immediately for you. But yeah, you hit these brick walls a couple of times. They're telling you it can't work. You're going to quit. They don't understand it.
They don't understand it. And perhaps even out of love, maybe out of protection, they feel like you're wasting your time doing this. You need to get a proper job, or, perhaps these are the sorts of conversations that people are having with you. Coming back here, being accountable and progressive, having mentors guiding you and having the network around you. Do you feel that kind of re-energizes that and pushes you forward?
100%. You are around people, you're watching these deals happen around the table in front of you. Like right at the beginning of your mentorship day, people are getting up, giving their wins for the month, and you're constantly seeing it happen. That keeps you going. I think if you haven't got a why, you're really happy with your job, you're probably not going to put as much effort in. Not saying it won't work for you, but having a big why is a massive driving factor for me.
And what do you mean by having a big why?
My children are my why. I'm not with their mother anymore. Not been for a few years. But I miss them dearly. I'd like to have 50-50. I'd like to have full custody of them, to be honest. But I'd definitely settle for 50-50 custody and have them in my life. Being able to choose a property that's more suitable for us. Yeah, being able to give them everything. Also having a trust fund as the SAS pension, but that's a whole nother story. I want to set that up for them. I don't want them to have a just over broke and having to go through life building somebody else's dream. I want to build their dream and let them live it.
Wow, that is a big why, Rob.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. And it's been really, really great to have you in the studio today. I'm so looking forward to hearing about your continued success.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers.
If you want to become successful in property and change your life, comment property below and we'll send you a link to attend our multiple streams of property income event. Now, back to the video.